First, we got Who That Kaden Clock edition, man. This finna be the Kaden Clock show out of all she keep doing. She putting not only the women on notice, but the men's on notice with her performances, man. As most people know, she broke the scoring record February 15th against Michigan. Let's just talk about the shot that she made to break the record. It was a from the logo three, cash, nothing but net, early first quarter. And again, I think they was losing like 6-3. And she decided to pull out cash. Like, who does that? Who shoots the shot to break the record from the logo? Kayla Clark. That's who does that. And she does it every game with confidence. And she's just out there playing so freely, so joyfully. And she knows she's the best player out there. Like, she knows she's the best player out there. So now she got 3,569 points. And she's going to keep building on this record through March Madness and through the last few of these games. So, beginning of the season, man, we knew the record was going to be broken. We just didn't know what game. And I knew what shot because my nickname for Kate is Logo Caitlin. But now, we look at the bigger picture. You get all these questions you start to hear. Is Caitlin Clark the greatest women's basketball player ever? Is she the best talent ever? I say yes. Caitlin Clark is the best women's college basketball player ever. I know Casey Plum was nice like that during her years, and the Candace Parkers and things like that, Skylar Diggins and the rest of the great women players, but the talent and the effect that Caitlin has on the game cannot be denied. When you think of Caitlin Clark, you think of Steph Curry. That's a lazy take. I don't take lazy takes. Y'all know me. I'm sure I keep it true and real. My takes is spicy. Everybody can eat hot food, so they do the hot takes. I do spicy. Because everybody can't take no spicy food. Let me see you taste that jerk chicken, that spicy jerk chicken. You need some water. But Caitlin, man, I say she got the Michael Jordan effect. Because people want to be like Caitlin. Girls growing up now, they want to be like Caitlin. And not just girls, but guys. You see when guys shoot from the logo, things like that, they may scream Caitlin. Of course, you're going to hear more Steph because he's on a higher level. He's been doing it longer. But Caitlin is in the effect on the game. Like, when she gets to the WNBA, the amount of eyes that are going to be on her is going to be insane. The amount of people that's going to prepare her downfall and things like that are going to be insane. The amount of pressure on her is going to be insane. But I think she would live up to it all. Like, you got Jay Williams up. One of the best college players and went to the league, was decent. He gonna say Caitlin is not great because when he says great, he aligns that with championships. So my question to Jay Will is Allen Iverson great? Charles Barkley great? There's a lot of great basketball players in the NBA that's in the Hall of Fame that hasn't won championships. So James Harden isn't great. You know what I'm saying? Damian Lillard isn't great. All these players have done great things and haven't won a championship. Winning a championship isn't hard, and it's not like Caitlin teams are trash. Like, she's just getting garbage time points. This year, her team is ranked number 4. They're 23-3. Last year, they went over to the championship and lost to LSU in the championship. And through that run, they beat South Carolina with the number 1 ranked team, and that was on the 36-game win streak. And Caitlin Clark beat them. Iowa is nothing without Caitlin Clark. So all these points and all these stats and assists, and again, on her night that she broke the scoring record, she gave you 49 points. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a slouch performance. That was a career high. And she gave you 11 assists. So it's like the greatest talent ever in the women's college game has to be Caitlin Clark. I understand you have Candace Parker. You have Candace Parker who won multiple championships and things like that, but her numbers wasn't as great. If we're just going to do championships, then we're going to have to start saying that Bill Russell is the greatest player ever because he got the most championships. We don't say Magic Johnson is Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player because he got 6 championships, because that ain't the most. It's because, of course, he got it done when he needed to be with 6-0, but his talent, his ability, his effect on the game, what he did while he was playing. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. He done things that wasn't being done before. And that's what Kalen is doing. Them shooting them threes from the logo haven't been done before. Yes, there are a lot of great shooters in the league, in the WNBA and in the college game, but the way Caitlin is doing it, it's Steph Curry-like, and then her effect on the game is a Michael Jordan effect. So she has to be the best. So Candace Parker, I would. You can argue that. I can give you that argument just because she was so dominant and she won 100. Her record was 110 at Tennessee. That is insane. So I can understand that one. I can understand a few players. Brittany Stewart, I can understand her because she had 4 championships. Her record was 151-5. That is insane. But let's think about the talent that these players were going against, especially Brittany Stewart. That was kind of a while from now. What was the talent level that she was going against compared to the talent level that Caitlin Clark is going against? The women's game has grown so much since then. There's a lot of players that's been nice. You think about it now. Yesterday, at the All-Star game, 3-point contest, we had a women's player going against a men's player. And not just a regular men's player, but the greatest shooter ever. And Steph only hit 6 more threes than her. Points than her. Steph had 29, and Sabrina had 23. So the women's game have grown so much. So Caitlin Clark competition has to be a factor when you're looking at, of course, these players' records and things like that in their championships. But if Caitlin wins it this year and she beats South Carolina, she beats LSU, or she beats Virginia Tech and things, or beat USC, beat Oregon State, like, I don't think it's an argument no more. And she continues to score to 35 and get 12 assists, 40, 12 assists, and things like that throughout the tournament. Caitlin Clark has to be the greatest. She has to be. To me, she's already the greatest talent. Like, you cannot deny her talent. Like, what she's doing out there isn't, isn't a fluke or isn't here and there. She's doing it each and every week. Like I said, her team is ranked number 4, and she's the big reason of that. Like last night, Kenny talked about next year. He said he wanted to see Caitlin Clark going up against Sabrina, going against Steph. Like, we already want to see her against the greats, and she's in college. Like, that's the Michael Jordan effect. We wanted to see Michael Jordan when he was in UNC, in the league, while he was at UNC. So, Caitlin Clark's effect on the game is Michael Jordan, and her style play is Steph. It doesn't get much better than that. So, let me know in the comments or holler at me. I'm here to argue with anybody that's trying to debate Caitlin being the best or anything like that. Last thing I got to say on this topic is, go LSU. Hey, Reese. Next. Getting a little spicy with this one, baby. Told you I do spicy takes, baby. I don't do hot. Spicy. We going top 5 quarterbacks seasons in college football. Not top 5 quarterbacks ever. Top 5 quarterback seasons. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shador Sanders' 2023 season was that type. So we going to start at number 5. I got Tim Tebow, 2007 season. He won the Heisman this year. He threw for 3,132 yards, threw 29 touchdowns, rushed for 828 yards, and ran for 22 touchdowns. This was his sophomore season. He was the first freshman. He led his team to the national championship, although they lost. He had some big performances against big teams. Remember, this is in 2007, so remember when I give y'all these numbers. Against Tennessee, he threw for 299 yards, threw 2 touchdowns, ran for 67 yards, and threw 2 touchdowns. Against Ole Miss, he threw for 261 yards, threw 2 touchdowns, rushed for 166, and rushed for 2 touchdowns. In the Capital One Bowl, he had 4 total touchdowns. Tim Tebow, man, his effect at Florida was crazy. Like, Florida wasn't really never a powerhouse until he got there. He took them, although he won the championship the next year. I believe 2009. I'm sorry, he won the championship. But this 2007 season was just his first break on the mark. It's not always about the numbers to me, but it's about the effect. Like the dual threat quarterback, the read option, the power option offense he was kind of the first player to really do that. Like he really put that style of play at the quarterback position on the map. Like you think about before 2007, was there any really dual threat quarterbacks that was running for 800 yards while throwing for 3,000 yards, throwing 29 touchdowns and rushing for 22 touchdowns? He had to be the offense. Like that's 47 touchdowns just from him alone. Tebow 2007 season was great, and that's why I got him as my number 5 greatest quarterback seasons in college football. Number 4, Jameis Winston, 2013. Yeah, man, Winston, baby. Now he's a little, you know what I'm saying, he's a funny man with the Saints. He's a clown, man. But at Florida State, he was a beast. He won the Heisman, of course, this year in 2013. He was the first freshman to lead his team to a national championship. Let's stop there. First freshman to lead his team to a national championship. Like, do you know how much pressure is on freshmen in college? Because especially at Power 5 schools, all of them were the man in high school. They were the best player in their conference or best player in their state or region or whatever, however it may be set up. So the pressure on them to keep being like that in college is insane. And he not only lived up to that, but he exceeded that by winning Heisman. Heisman is the best award that you can get at the college level, football college level. He threw for 3,820 yards and had 38 total touchdowns. His passer rating, which I think was the key in me putting him at 4, was 194.04. He was very precise with his passing decisions in college. He was very accurate, and his passing completion rate was always high. It was always like a 70%. That's big in college. Because in college, you take a lot of deep threats, and most of the time at the Power 5 schools, they may just be better than the next team, and they can just get away with throwing some crazy throws, so they have a low completion percentage, but their numbers still may be great. Not only was Winston numbers great, but his his stats were great, like the touchdowns and the yards were great, but his accuracy and his pass percentage was always great. So that was big to me at the quarterback position. And some of his great performances against great ranked teams, the number 3 ranked Clemson, he threw for 444 yards. And number 7 ranked Miami, he threw for 325 yards. Showing up in big games is big to me. Showing up against ranked teams and great defenses is great to me. A lot of people can, have garbage time yards or cook bad teams, but against the greats, you play trash. Look at the Miami Dolphins. Sorry to my Miami Dolphins fans, but they beat up on a lot of bad teams. Like you put up 70 against the Broncos, but against Miami, you put up what, 10? Like against the Chiefs in the playoffs, you put up 13, I believe. Like anybody could beat up on Broncos. My Commanders beat those, but I need you to show up against the ranked teams in the big schools, and that's what Jameis did. He showed up against the big schools and the big ranked teams and things like that. So at 5, we got Tim Tebow. 4, we got Jameis Winston. 3, one of my favorite, Johnny Football. Johnny Manziel, baby. 2012 season. He threw for 3,419 yards. He threw 24 touchdowns. Ran for 1,181 yards and ran for 19 touchdowns. He was the first freshman to ever win a Heisman. He had a total of 4,600 total offense, and he had a 10-2 record. And he was at Texas A&M. This is not Texas A&M now. This is before NIL. So who was on Manziel's team during these times? Any big time receivers? I believe I want to say Mike Evans. I want to say he had Mike Evans. he had a big receiver. He had a big name, big time receiver that's in the league now. But only Mike Evans. Like nobody else was really on Johnny football team. I may be wrong about that. But you know what I'm saying? But when you think about that Johnny Manziel season, one game come to mind. That was the win over Alabama, 29-24. Him himself had 345 total offense. He threw for 253 yards for 2 touchdowns, and he ran for 92 yards. That game showed his magic and showed how great he was. I remember this one play he had dropped back, and he had ran around in a circle, then threw the joint up, and it was caught for a big first down. Like that game put Manziel on the map and put him on notice. Like, oh yeah, he's winning the Heisman this year. Like Johnny football man was OC, man. Like when he got to the league, of course he was low, but he was crazy, man. That 2012 season was crazy. Like he was out there having fun, cooking players. Mind you, he's like 5'10", more than 5'10", out there going crazy and doing whatever he wanted on the field. Like he threw for 3,000 and ran for 1,000. Like that is insane. And it was nice that season with a 10-2 record. And in the Cotton Bowl, him himself had 516 total offense. You put up 500 offense yourself in the Cotton Bowl. Like, that's just greatness. Manziel was definitely, this 2012 season was amazing. Like, he was amazing this year. He put the world on notice. Everybody was doing this Johnny football. His effect on the game was crazy. That opened the doors up for a lot of the smaller quarterbacks to go play at the Power 5 schools and things like that. But, yeah, Johnny football, man. All right, number 3. Number 2, Joe Burrow, 2019 season. I know, people think this was going to be number 1. But I'm sorry, you'll see who number 1 is. Let's talk about Joe Burrow's season. Yeah, before he got to LSU, he was at Ohio State for 3 years. Didn't really get an opportunity. He was the backup to Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace Haskins. But went to LSU and changed his life forever. He threw for 5,671 yards. That is insane when I just read off the number. The other few guys threw for 3,000. He threw for 5,000. That is insane. But 5,671 yards, 60 total touchdowns. He won the Heisman that year, SEC player, and he won a national title. Now, with those numbers and those stats and winning, I know y'all screaming, Trill, how is he at number 2? How is he at number 2? He had number 2. All right. He was insane. I know the national championship game against Alabama, threw for 5 touchdowns. The big reason why I got him at 2 is because he had not 1, but 2. He had 3. Okay, we're going to say 2. He had 2 all-pro wide receivers on his team. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Anybody that know me, I believe Justin Jefferson is one of the best players in the whole entire NFL. So having him as a wide receiver on your team makes your job so much easier. Look at Kirk Cousins. But we ain't gonna get into that. Joe Burrow had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and he had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, he was crazy, and his O-line was crazy. So he had a lot of things that went his way, and his defense was insane with the Devin White in them. Let's be real. His lineup and his team was insane. That was one of the greatest college football teams ever, for sure. So the quarterback playing on that team is a key piece, yes. But him being surrounded by that much talent is crazy. Because we killed Brock Purdy for the same reason. Let's be real. We killed Brock Purdy for having Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Shanahan calling plays, all this, Trent Williams, all this. Like, no. Joe Burrow was the same setup in college. And it's college. So a lot of the players he's going against are not as good, nowhere near as good as the Jamar Chase and things like that. In the league with Brock Purdy, it's players that as good as Debo. It's a DB that can, I'm saying, that can check Debo, that can check IU Kittle. So same way we kill Brock Purdy for not being the best on his team. I believe Joe Burrow was the best on that team, but you can argue, you know what I'm saying, Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, Devin White, things like that. They had a mob, offense and defense. They had a mob, and we've seen that on full display that whole season and against Alabama in that championship game. So, Joe Burrow is at number 2, 2019 season. Number 1, Cam Superman Newton. Man, 2010 season, man. Won a Heisman that year. SEC Player of the Year. He threw for 2,854 yards. Ran for 1,473 yards. Had 51 total touchdowns, man. His numbers are not as good as Joe Burrow's. No, they're not at all. But he was the best player on that team 100%. If y'all can name a player that's in the league now that was at least a top third round pick, first, second, or third round pick from Cam Newton, offensive side of the ball team, 2010 Auburn team, then I switch it. But y'all can't. So Cam is at number 1, man. Won a national championship also, so don't act like he didn't win against Oregon. Threw for 265 yards and threw for 2 tutties. With a bunch of no names. No names. Like Tebow, and then you got to think about Cam's journey. He backed up Tim Tebow, got kicked out of Florida, and went down to JUCO, bet on himself at Blinn College, went crazy, went to Auburn, went crazy, and became the number 1 pick. Like, it doesn't get much better than Cam Newton 2010 season, man. He was insane that year. Y'all know he was. He was their offense, power offense. Throwing it deep. Everybody was Cam Newton 2010 season, man. That's Trill's top 5 QB seasons. I'm going to read them back to y'all. Number 1, Cam Newton, 2010 season. Number 2, Joe Burrow, 2019 season. Number 3, Johnny Manziel, 2012 season. Number 4, Jameis Winston, 2013 season. And number 5, Tim Tebow, 2007 season. And I know what y'all screaming. Where's Lamar? Where's Lamar? Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. Lamar. Lamar and Johnny Manziel numbers were identical. Man, go look at Lamar record, 2012. Not 2012, I'm sorry. Go look at Lamar Heisman year. I believe he won 2016. Go look at his Heisman year numbers and go look at Lamar Jackson team record, Louisville record. Now look at, and I said Johnny Manziel record was 10-2, and his big win against Alabama was big reason why he's on this list, and the big reason why Lamar Jackson is not. It was either Lamar or Johnny. I couldn't have both because they're the same really type of quarterback. Like, their running ability really made them what they are, and their playmaking ability. Lamar was crazy. Lamar was crazy. Most probably electrifying quarterback. He was crazy. I know. But I'm sorry. He's definitely at number 6. If you want to say that, he's at number 6 for sure. He's at number 6. But that's my list, baby. Y'all know I'm spice. I keep it spicy, baby. But so next we have who that Coach Prime. The Prime effect, baby, is real. So we all know Coach Prime was up at Colorado last season. They didn't have the best season, man. They went 4-6. If you don't know, that's my mob. Next year we going crazy. Mark it. The Prime effect, I say, is real because I'm going to give y'all some reasons. Shedeur Sanders, his son, is not the number 1 quarterback in college football last season, but his popularity and notoriety will make you think that he is. Every time you're on social media or anywhere and you see somebody doing the Shedeur, like, the effect on the game has got to be real. That's always, like I said, it's not always about the numbers. Your effect on the game has to be just as good as your numbers. Then you think about the NIL going crazy. He got 2 players in the NIL top 10 making money. Shador, his son, Prime son, is number 1 at 4.7 mil, and Travis is number 2, and I believe his is like 1.5 mil, 1.2 mil, in that range. Like, that's Prime. That is 100% Prime. If Travis Hunter would have went to Florida State, he would not be in the top 10 for NIL money. There's no other player in Florida State on that list. Florida State, I'm sorry, Jordan Travis is on that list. I'm sorry. But Prime, Keon Coleman was the top wide receiver this year. He ain't on that list. So Travis is benefiting well off of Prime Sanders, and that's rightfully so. He went with Prime for this effect. You know what I'm saying? To make this great NIL money and to keep his name top picks. He is projected to be a top pick after this season because his ability and Prime letting him play both sides of the ball, things like that. Think about Jordan Seaton. A few months ago in 2023, he was a senior at IMGM Academy. Now, he committed to Prime on national television, on Undisputed, at 10 a.m. in the morning. He committed. Then, during the NFL Honors Week, Super Bowl week, he's on radio shows talking about why committed there and its effect there. Imagine his NIL value after those. Prime puts his players in position to be great on the field and off the field. NFL isn't for everybody, or it may not last as long for everybody. So being able to be something off the field is a big part of Prime. Then you got the spring game. Prime talked about the spring game this year, and he talked about how it's going to be an event. It's not going to be just a spring game and then people go home. It's going to be a halftime show, party after the game. His marketing ability is insane. Like, coaches should take note. Last season, man, he said coaches didn't want to beat Colorado. They wanted to beat him. Pause. Teams don't want to say, oh, yeah, we got Colorado on the schedule. We want to say, oh, yeah, I beat Deion Sanders because how great he was when he was a player and how arrogant he is now. He has 2 of his sons playing on his team when they're starters and they're good. That is insane as a black man. Like, they don't like that. Dan Lanner and Oregon coach, I like Dan Lanner, I like Coach Oregon, but he said they playing for clicks. We playing for hard. They not playing for clicks. It's not their fault that the cameras and all this is on them. They out there, they playing. They playing ball like everybody else play ball. Just the cameras are on them because of the Prime effect. Like, it's real. Think about Jackson State. Man, he made so much money for Jackson State. They can use that money for the next 5-10 years. Their games this year was nowhere near stocked and loaded. Man, he bought ESPN Game Day to Jackson State. When was the last time ESPN College Game Day been to a HBCU? And they definitely wasn't back at Jackson State this year. So you can't argue the Prime effect. Like, I argue with a few of my friends every day about how Colorado's going to do this and do that. It's because Prime, we would not talk about no Colorado without Prime being there. I forgot Colorado was exist before Prime got there. Be for real. So the Prime effect, man, is real. Like, my goal for sure this year is we gonna get up there and we gonna shoot an episode up Colorado this year. Next football season. We going out to Boulder and we shooting the episode. So let Prime know I'm coming and I'm bringing my watch for the Shador. Next, lastly, we got Bill O'Brien. Who that Bill O'Brien, man? He's still living off these Tom Brady days, man. You gotta be. Like, he became the head coach at Boston College. Whoop-de-doo. Like, I don't understand how does he keep getting these jobs. Like, last season, he was the coach, the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. Like, Ohio State offense wasn't good against good competition. I'm going to give you the numbers. Against Notre Dame, he gave you 17 points. Against Penn State, he gave you 20, and their defense scored 6 points on Against Wisconsin, he gave you 24. Against Michigan, he gave you 24. Against Missouri, he gave you 3. Like, the Big Ten doesn't play much competition, so these few games are the competition, and the offense didn't show up. Like, he's still living off these Brady and Belichick sides that's not there anymore. Brady and Belichick is out of the league. So anybody that's tied with them should be out of the league. Look at Mike McDaniel. He's trash everywhere he's been since leaving Brady and Belichick. This Brady and Belichick stuff has to go. Like, he's overrated. And I like Boston College. They always a sneaky school to beat a ranked team every year. And I think Bill O'Brien might mess that up now. He better not. Like, his last time as a head coach, he was 7-6. Like, I don't understand how does he keep getting these jobs. Like, he's doing something. It's not him. He's just living off the name from Brady and Belichick. But it's not there anymore, Bill. Sorry, it's not there. You don't have to prove me wrong this season. I'm going to be on Boston College, hard this season. Like, they're going to have to show me something. Bill O'Brien is going to have to show us something this season, man. He's still living off these ties from Brady and Belichick. And nobody else is able to live off of them still but him. But he's doing it at the college level. He's smart. He's smart for that. But the NFL is onto it, and that's over. So we're gonna be on Belichick. I'm sorry, we're gonna be on Bill O'Brien this season to see how Boston College do in the ACC, man. We're gonna see. But that's all I have for y'all today, man. Y'all know what it is. I'm Trill. I keep it 2 things: true, real. Peace.